Emily from Misrepresented. So today the team and I are getting together to talk about periods. So I ran a Twitter poll the other day asking people whether they felt embarrassed to talk about their periods, because it is something that affects every single woman in a different way. And 79% said they weren't. So I just wanted to know, like, personally, how do we all feel about, can we talk about them? Do we feel embarrassed?
I love talking about my period. Because I don't get them very often. So it's an exciting time for me. I'm like, oh, I'm a woman. I've got my period. Let me tell you all about it. Let me tell you about the menstrual cramps. Let me tell you about how angry I am right now for no reason. But then also let me tell you how much I love you. I'm going through all the emotions. And let me tell you about the heaviness of the period. It's light today, but it could be heavy tomorrow. Let me tell you all my horror stories. And that's pretty much how it goes for me. Yeah, I love talking about my period.
I love that.
So
there was one time I bumped into a work colleague, sort of a work colleague on the university campus on a particularly heavy period. I wasn't having a very good day. Like, it was a horror show. Absolute bloodbath, literally. And he asked me how I was. I was like, oh, you're going to ask me how I am, Phil, are you? Let me tell you. Went into details, and he was just sort of like, oh. There.
Bye.
And then walked off
Yeah.
because he didn't know what to say. He was like, wasn't expecting that, we're not really that close. I was like, well, you asked.
So I get like really embarrassed by I don't know why it affects every single woman. I know women are going through it and have been through it, but yet if I have to buy like some sanitary products and there's a man serving, I'm like, Dad, can you go? Chris, can you go? Mum, can you? Like, honestly, straight away I'm like, they're gonna know. But of course they know, because it happens to every woman. But for some reason I've got this thing of, it's just me in my bathroom, it's a private thing.
You were the only person having periods and no one else needs to know.
Yes, it's just me in my bathroom that know about it.
Yeah.
No one else. Certainly not my family, who I probably am very awful once a month too.
Yeah, because you do get that day of absolute, like, the rage
You're
is
rock
real,
bottom.
isn't
Yeah.
it? The rage is real. Then I get like the day where you cry for no apparent reason, but it feels like so bad.
It's so important that you cry because you're so angry.
The day when you eat more than you really should ever eat,
That's
because you just
every
feel
day.
like incessant hungry.
Well,
Like, yeah.
The last one I was at work that week, and I got asked the following week, next time you're having a period, maybe you should put holidays in. Because I was just horrible to everyone. I was so horrible.
Yeah, but
And I knew I was being horrible, but I wouldn't apologise for it, because I was like, I'm right. I am right. I am going through hell right now. You don't even realise. Are you bleeding from the vagina right now? No, you're not. Don't even. And then, so I was horrible. And like the guys were just like, yeah, like, I think they were like, either you put holidays in, and I was like, oh, we're putting holidays in.
But that is one of the
We can't
debates.
deal with that again. We can't deal with you being like this. I was like, it doesn't happen that often. Like, don't worry about it. They're like,
But
"You
it's
sure?"
also, it really, really hurts. And I don't,
It
you
does.
can't tell anybody, because it's a pain unlike any other
No,
pain.
see, I have.
But it hurts.
See,
I
I'm
feel like
happy to
I've
go around
described
and-
it quite, well, not eloquently. That's definitely the
No.
wrong word for what I'm about to say. But I think I've got it down to a T. So I would say to people, imagine someone has just put their hand up inside you like you are a puppet, and then they are scraping out your insides. That's how it feels to me.
That actually,
And that is,
I mean,
that's
there you
what's
go,
happening.
boys.
You're having your womb lining ripped out, so you are being torn from the inside. That's how it feels.
yeah, that's pretty accurate, to be fair.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's not eloquent, but it's accurate.
But there is totally a debate, like you were just saying, about, you know, being off work and being at work while you're on your period, because it can actually affect your concentration levels.
Well, I have
massively.
I get hormonal migraines. So basically, every month at exactly the same time, when around my period time, I get really quite a violent migraine and vomiting. So literally, it happens every single month. So, and it lasts for about 3 days. I will feel absolutely exhausted. I'll have a really intense migraine, and I'll feel really sick. And I actually usually am sick, and that's the only way. And then I get like really hot and really cold, and I go through this thing every month. And it's like, and most of the time I've just kind of carried on going to work. But it's like, you can't take time off work every single month at the same time. That's not realistic, but it is a thing. So my actual period, to be fair, is fine. I'm not bothered about my period. It doesn't, but these migraines come every single month, and it's like, it is that thing of, you can't say like, oh, it's my time of the month, you know, and it's like, people almost don't believe it, or they don't believe you have enough problems with it, because everyone has a different experience, because someone might have a really light period, so it doesn't bother them at all. Whereas like me, I'm flawed for like a good 3 days
Yeah.
every month, and then I spend the rest of the month like picking myself back up, and then it comes round again, and it's like, oh my god. So I think the work thing is but then as a business you can't take time, you can't have everyone taking time off work, and as well because people sink. Their periods sink, don't they, if you're around people. So basically the whole workforce would be like...
All the women in there are coming in for this week.
All off this month.
We timed this well.
Is that actually true though? Like,
Yeah,
do people-
definitely.
Yes,
It's me and then my 3 sisters and my mum all in one house. And
Oh my God.
my mum and my sisters one of my sisters all on the injection, so we get one every 3 months. But my other sister, when she's on her period, we're all hormonal, we need all the chocolate, we're all angry, we're all crying, we're all having cramps, and it's not a nice house to live in,
But I tell you
really,
what,
for
you
a
all
week.
understand each other though. Like my mum understands, even my dad understands. Even my dad's
Yeah.
like, oh, is it your ladies' time? That's what he calls it. Like he will
Love
happily go to the shop and buy me. Like honestly, he's really, really understanding when it comes to that. But some men just are like, no, I don't understand. I don't want to understand. It's not something that I want to talk, which is understandable. I can, you know, if you don't want to talk about it, you don't want to talk about it. But there are some men out there that are a bit funny about it.
Which you can understand, because it's not nice.
It isn't a nice time for either reciprocant, if I'm completely honest.
It's understanding as well that the hormones, like, because I think when you first have your period, you don't actually understand that these hormones are irrational. You feel the rage and you think that is real. You know, you are really angry at that person, and it's only, I think, after a bit of time that you actually realise that, all right, every month I'm going to get this feeling, I'm going to be really angry for no apparent reason. And like for me, like, oh, if the heating's on in the house, I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so angry. And Matthew's like, oh, is it your time in the month? And I'm like, and you kind of go,
That's
no,
not even helpful,
but it
is
is.
it? When someone's like, what are you saying? I'm just angry right now because you've got the heating on. Like, it's nothing to do with anything else.
Exactly. And you fully believe it because hormones are so powerful.
They really are.
I don't actually get them that often because I do have polycystic ovaries. So I don't get them. So when people say things like that to me, I'm like, no, this is genuinely just my rage. Like, I'm just angry with you right now. So you've said that and you've just made it worse for yourself because you're assuming it's my hormones. I was like, this is just me angry at you. I was like, you want to see me on Jamway.
Do you see, like, because you have that, because you have polycystic ovaries, when you get a period, do you feel like good about it because you feel like that's your body doing what it should do, or do you like the fact that you don't have them, or
do you know what? It's like a blessing and a curse because I never know when I'm going to get it, so I can't be prepared. Obviously, most women can be like, I know it's going to be around this date, or it's going to be this exact date. For me, it could literally be any day, any time. So I'm constantly having to carry like sanitary products with me, which is just not ideal. Because after a while, the wrappers on tampons just disintegrate, and then it's like, oh, there's a wasted tampon. There's probably about £2 down the drain. And then, so there's that. There's also the side of not knowing if you are pregnant. Obviously, polycystic ovaries means I have a reduced chance, but it's still like a case of a doctor can't tell me 100% you definitely won't get pregnant, because then if I did get pregnant, I could sue them. So there's still that chance that I could have that, and you don't know because you don't have that warning of, oh God, I've missed a period, because it's like, well, I haven't had a period in 2 years, so, you know.
Yeah, it's supposed to regularity for the people that you don't have.
That's it, like, and then, you know, as I say, like, I can have this rage sometimes inside me for a few days before, and I'm horrible to people, and I can't be like, oh, it's because I'm on my period, because I don't know if it's coming. I might just be being horrible and irrational.
I suppose it's like
You can still have hormonal rage.
But it'll be difficult to, like, if you don't know when it's coming, you can't, like, go, oh, yeah, that's normal. I always feel like this at this time of the month.
It's essentially like doing the weather forecast, like just having a prediction, isn't it? Like, oh, it might happen.
But then, like, again, at the same time, like, having a period is uncomfortable, so it's quite nice to not have that. But then on the other side of it, having polycystic ovaries makes you fat and hairy. So someone put it very horribly to me before when I was telling them about polycystic ovaries, that, like, you know, it makes you like hairy and fat and this, that, the other. Said, oh, so basically your ovaries are just testicles. I was like, thanks.
Oh my
I was like,
God.
thank you. No, they're not. They just don't produce over as much as yours maybe do.
And the other debate that we've been talking about before is about whether you should have to pay for, because you mentioned how expensive tampons and sanitary towels can be. do we think that you should have to pay
No,
for?
absolutely not.
Well, actually, I did some research into this, and Tampax Pearl is £3 a box in Asda, a box of 10, and Always is £1.45, like for a box of 10. Which, as any woman will know, for hygiene reasons, a box of 10 doesn't last
About
you
5 minutes.
about 5 minutes.
It
Yeah,
does, well, that's it. It lasts you like 2, a maximum of 3 days, depending on how heavy your flow
because
is.
for hygiene reasons, you need to change it all the time.
See,
all the time.
that's my biggest paranoia, toxic shock syndrome.
Yeah,
I do
exactly.
not want TSS because, you know, you hear horror stories about
Yeah.
people losing a leg from it and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'm
we
just
were on
like,
about
I have
that.
no
Yeah.
time for that. So,
I have no time for
I
it.
No
would
time to
rather-
lose a leg.
like, if I'm on my period, it's like, so like a maximum of 4 hours I'll wear a tampon for. I know, like, they say you can wear it for like up to 8 hours or
I'm
something.
with you, I'm the same.
No, I'm not going to wear it for 8 hours.
Yeah.
No, maximum of 4 hours. If it goes over that 4 hour boundary,
See-
like I set alarms during the night so I can change like a pad or something. 'Cause I'm
See,
that
that's why like
paranoid.
people do free bleeding and abstain from sanitary products altogether because they just don't want to have that risk. So, like, you know,
yeah,
that's why.
I get where people are coming from that, but for me it's like that it ruins clothes. Let's face
Yeah.
it.
From a
Trying to get
practicality point of view.
yeah, exactly. Like trying to get blood out of your
Then
clothes.
it's awful.
It's
I
not
know.
easy.
And to me, like, I totally respect anybody if they want to do it individually, because I think it is a very individual thing, and if
Yeah.
they feel like it's okay for them, that's cool. But for me personally, it wouldn't be practical. There is a hygiene element to it,
Yeah.
and also there's the kind of embarrassment, and I don't think you should be ashamed to be on your period, but at the end of the day, sanitary products are a thing that have evolved because there was a time when, like, I remember my gran telling me about the type of sanitary towels and stuff they had when she was young, and it wasn't like what we've got now, which is actually quite sleek
Yeah,
and
quite-
discreet.
Yeah.
You know, they used to have to wear kind of big cotton pads and kind of belt things to
Yeah,
hold them
like-
round, and it was all very unglamorous. So I think actually we're quite lucky that we live in a time when
yeah, we
we've got the
absolutely
kind
are.
of things that we
Definitely.
have.
Well, I mean, in 2015, that London Marathon runner, she ran the marathon, didn't she? And she didn't wear a tampon. And when I was researching this, a lot of people were calling her disgusting for it. And she was
Well-
saying that women's bodies don't exist for public consumption. I'm doing this because I want to raise awareness that this is a thing that happens. Which was good, and I'm really glad that she was raising awareness for periods, because 66% of Southeast Asian women don't actually know what the menstrual cycle is until they get the first period. So raising awareness for it, because you all remember when you first had your period, you were like, I'm dying, that's
Yeah.
it, I'm gone.
Yeah.
There's blood here,
I was
this is
waiting for
normal.
mine.
You know,
Started a few years after all the other girls, so I was like,
At least-
"What
at
is
least-
it?"
at
But
least you went
also,
nine.
it's that thing of, there's been that study, hasn't there, recently, where students in the UK, which I
Yeah.
find abhorrent,
Oh,
are
God.
actually missing school because they can't afford like sanitary towels or tampons, and that's, to me, that is like
that's your
a
education.
catastrophe. Like, that's
Yeah.
shocking.
It's called
disgusting.
period poverty, and like it happens a lot in Kenya. So there's like about 2/3 of Kenyan school kids that don't go to school, they don't get educated. Because I remember what it was like when you were at school and you were on your period, and I had sanitary towels, and it was like, oh my God, someone's gonna know. It's gonna leak. This is gonna happen. So imagine going to school without anything because you can't afford that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, see, for me, it goes even worse. We have that embarrassment factor in this country, but there's still some African countries now where a girl comes on a period, she's tried as a witch. Like, she's literally like, because she's got a period, it's like, no,
But I
that's
think there's a
normal,
lot
that's
of-
natural.
There is that confusion about periods, because I can't stand advertising about like for tampons and for sanitary towels, because it is like very much, oh, did you know you can still skydive and
Yeah.
bungee jump and do ballet and whatever, and it's like, ultimately,
When are you skydiving and bungee jumping to work?
I don't think those two things, it's like, I don't think that's the reality for most women. I don't think most women are sat there on a day-to-day basis thinking, should I go bungee jumping? No,
Exactly.
I'm on my
Well, I mean,
period, I
if
shan't.
I, was,
you know.
if I had a
As if
bungee
it's like
jump
regular
booked
life.
or a skydive booked, it wouldn't be a case of, oh, for God's sake, I've come on my period, and I have to
I
cancel
feel
it
like
now.
we're beyond that almost.
It's that,
Like, we're beyond that, and yet we're
Yeah.
still having these images of like, as if women are still sat around not achieving things because they're on their period. It's like, no, women are running women are running countries, they're running big businesses,
Speak
they're
with
running
women, yeah.
families, they're doing amazing things, all while miraculously on their period. So it's just this weird thing that it somehow limits us when it actually really doesn't.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you there. Like,
Yeah.
It is like a weird subject, because I asked on Twitter when we were like researching for this, I said, do you think it's effective? Do you think, does it speak to you? 84% of our Twitter audience said no, and I actually got like a really funny tweet from someone. Her name's Jessica Wilby, so hi Jessica. She said, I've never been able to wear white and play tennis while on my period. So misleading. And it is so true. Like that Always one where she's the DJ, she's in the hot pink shorts and she's DJing.
Yeah.
No, you're at home with a hot water bottle on,
and a cup of tea.
and probably some
chocolate,
like
all of the chocolate.
probably like some like really sad film on, because you're
Yeah.
crying for no reason.
Yeah.
And it's not an effective. I've never thought that's me. I can understand why I've done that. I can understand the discreet element of it,
Yeah.
because
That's what you want
That's
from
what
a
you
sanitary
want, yeah.
product. You want people to not know you're wearing it.
well, sometimes you feel like you're wearing a nappy. Like in genuine honesty, like the bulk of some of them, like the night ones. I mean, the dead thick night ones.
I must
See,
admit, I don't really wear sanitary
No.
towels. I only use tampons because I just think I do like to be able to get on with my life
Without
and not
worrying.
be thinking about. And it's not so much just that I don't want other people to see. I don't like that feeling of something
Yeah.
bulky. It's like just unnecessary kind of thing for me. But I can see why, like with toxic shock syndrome, I think a lot of
That's why
people
I
worry about
don't. I
tampons
worry.
because of that. And I
Because you can
see,
forget it, can't you?
Yeah.
Because it's that comfortable. You go on about your life.
yeah, there was a young girl who left one in there for like a week and ended up, like, because she just forgot that she'd put it there.
See,
And she ended up in hospital with like sepsis and...
That's
But
what
then
I
the other
worry.
misconception is that you can kind of lose them.
No,
Because
there's nowhere for them to
actually
go.
there isn't anywhere for them to go, so you can't really
No.
lose
Yeah,
them.
you can't
as
lose
such.
it.
It's even knowing what to do with it. Like
Yeah.
I do remember my mum like buying me some tampons, talking me through what I needed to do so that I felt comfortable with it
Yeah.
and okay. And I take that for granted because that made me confident in using it. But obviously not everybody gets that, even that slight
No.
bit of
No.
education, or depending on who their family are or what their family
See,
believe
yeah.
in and that kind of thing.
like when I
It's-
was reading that Guardian's article about like period poverty, like 1 in 10 like African schoolgirls miss like school because of their like periods and stuff. But you got to understand that no one's talking them through it.
Yeah, they
And
don't
they
know what it
won't
is.
know what it is. Like I was very lucky, like you. My dad was like, my dad was the only one in the house, and I thought, oh my god, I don't want to tell him. He just went, oh, they're in the bathroom cupboard. So I'll ring your mum will sort it, and that was it. And like it's a thing that's open in my house, and we can talk about it. And I take that for granted.
Yeah,
I suppose.
I think
in a way.
a lot of us do.
Yeah.
I think it shouldn't be stigmatised because at the end of the day, it is a thing that happens to everybody. And I think that's what I would like to see in the future, that it just becomes a thing that is accepted and open. And we don't have this advertising that's like, oh, look, you can be discreet, you can do this, you can do that.
Yeah, because it's discreet in what way? Is it discreet in the...
It's all right to be discreet, as in you want to feel
Yes.
comfortable, you want to feel happy, but you don't need to hide
They promote
it.
the packaging as discreet packaging. I'm like, well, I'm not bothered. Like,
Personally,
put it
I
in
always
that
think they
tins
should give you
thing,
some
yeah.
nice
Yeah, the
glamorous
little
packaging.
tins.
Do you know what I mean? A bit
Yeah.
more like, so you actually, because
have it flamboyant. Maybe
if anything,
look at this tampon.
it, like we're laughing, but actually the packaging is almost, it is a bit lame in terms of what it is.
Yeah.
Like, why are they
Of
not
course it
branding it and making it look a bit cooler? So you actually are like, oh yeah, this is my, you know, like a cosmetic bag, or like when they did those tins or cool things like
Them
that. So
tins
you're
were
a bit
great.
more,
I
so
never
it's a
had one.
fashion statement rather than a something to be hiding away.
Well,
Definitely.
So that's everything on what we've talked about periods. If you'd like to leave your comments in the comments box below, we'd love to hear yours, and make sure you follow us on social media.